We last featured this car back in June 2022, and back then the car was in quite a different condition. It had just been resprayed and had the 125 kilowatt motor installed. Forward 2 years, the car's been fully restored and converted, so stay tuned to find out the story. Okay, Neil, so your family go back a long way with the Triumph, don't they?
As early as I can remember, my first car I remember my mother having was a Standard. Then she had several Triumph Heralds, and then a Triumph Acclaim. Actually, no, before the Acclaim, of course, was the Stag. And from new Triumph Stag, I remember test driving a Stag, test driving a Mercedes 280 SL Pagoda got top with my dad. And we bought the Stag because the Mercedes only had 3 seats and we wanted 4 seats. So the Stag was the choice, 1974, and it's still sat in my driveway alongside us today.
Yeah, we've seen it just now. It looks in fantastic condition as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a car with a lot of memories, lovely car to drive. That exhaust note is just superb, and I wouldn't ever electrify that one because I love the exhaust note.
Right, now bring us on to electrification, because you bought the Polestar, you really enjoyed driving that around, you enjoyed the sort of electric powertrain of that. So, but then that inspired you for a classic car, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was meant to be a retirement project in a couple of years' time, but I'm not very patient, so the retirement project happened 4 years early. But anyway, I sort of thought to myself, yeah, something to do, just to have something to potter around. The Polestar's great, but it's so competent you can't have much fun in it. And what I remember when I had the 1500 Spitfire back in the 90s, you could have fun at 40 miles an hour. So I thought, well, if I go back to having the Spitfire, open top motoring, fun at 40, and combine that with the electric, where you can pull out of a junction and not worry about someone coming up your tail a bit quick.
Yeah. Then you meet up with Nick from Eco Classics and you get chatting with him, and what happened in that meeting?
I think he just inspired me to get on with it.
Yeah.
I'd been thinking about this as a sort of retirement project, but I walked away from that meeting thinking, right, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And it was clearly a Triumph, because we've always been Triumphs.
So why a Spitfire though?
Well, in 1987, I had a Dolomite Sprint at the time, which I loved, until someone ran up the back of it and wrote it off. And I used the insurance money to buy a Spitfire 1500 that needed a complete rebuild.
Right, okay.
So rebuilt the Spitfire, had some fun with that, and had to sell it when too many children, not enough seats.
Yeah. So where'd you find this one, and what condition was it in?
So I went looking. I went straight away from Silverstone meeting Nick. I went straight online and started looking.
Right.
And I was really looking for a car. I didn't want to take a car that was already in great condition, because I thought it was wrong to convert a car that was in good condition. I wanted to convert a car that needed lots of work. Right or wrong, that was my logic.
Yeah.
So I was looking around for something part completed maybe, and I found a part completed restoration down in Sussex, at Crawley, at Sussex Classics with Stuart Finney. It had welding done, but it needed everything else doing. And in the end, I still took the body off to redo chassis, suspension. Chassis was in good condition. Bodywork needed a bit more work. And the guys at Divine Autos did a fantastic job on the paintwork. It really is glorious.
Yeah, I saw it just after that had happened, and it looked fantastic.
Yeah, no, really I mean, it cost a bob or two, but it was worth it.
Right, this is a bit different, Neil, isn't it? Not what you expect to see in a Spitfire.
Definitely not.
So, what have we got here for people that don't know?
You can't ignore the battery.
No.
So there are 2 batteries. One is where the fuel tank originally was, over the rear axle, but the main batteries, 10 of the 16 cells, are in this grey box. Underneath the grey box is the motor.
Yeah.
125 kilowatt motor, and the other main modification is the brain is there. So on top of a small 12 volt battery is the motor control unit and all the rest of it. There is actually still cooling because the inverter and the battery charging circuit require a bit of cooling, and the motor. So there is still a small cooling circuit. It's a little bit heavier than an original engine, so I put heavy duty springs in, but it seems to ride reasonably well considering.
Yeah. And of course, no oil leaks.
No oil leaks.
No problem starting it in the morning.
No problem starting it
pushing
in the morning.
it down the road. No towing. It's all good, isn't it?
I'm converted to the electric way, so yeah, I'm happy.
How do you feel the whole process has been for you?
It's been fun. I've enjoyed the restoration. I think when you do something for the first time, things like the wiring loom from scratch, I've learnt lots, and there's lots I'd probably do again, and maybe one day I'll just redo the wiring loom because I've learnt. Nick's had a few fun challenges as well along the way, but that's the joy of a one-off, and you learn, don't you? And so it's brilliant. I must, there are other electric Spits out there, but this is mine, and
it's unique to you.
Yeah, it's got my character on it.
This is great. Yeah. I think we should get this car out on the road. But before we do that, what do you think of the Spitfire? Please leave a message in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe. And Neil, let's get this car on the road, shall we?
Okay, we're just coming out of the village.
Okay, so we're out on this lovely country road here in Oxfordshire today. It's a lovely day, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great day for being in this sort of car.
That's what I did it for.
Yeah. So tell us about how you feel driving it and what the experience is like.
Well, so far, and I've only done a few tens of miles, I'm absolutely loving it. It is so quiet, you can still hear the birds sing. It's got that bit of torque that when you want to accelerate, you can. And because the car is small, you're not quite as nervous on these narrow roads because you just never know what's going to come around the corner.
Yeah.
So any moment you could meet some people walking, a horse, tractor. So slow speed, fun at slow speed is what it's all about.
Yeah. And with the 125 kilowatt motor, because you decided you didn't want it as crazy as that, did you?
No, that's right. I didn't need that full power, and I know the insurance company were quite keen on me not to have too much power.
Yeah.
So I was fine with that, and we've limited it to, in effect, an 80 miles an hour top speed, which is all I should need.
Yeah.
But I've still got the torque to pull away at T-junctions and things like that, which makes the car safe and enjoyable.
Because the original would have gone about 90 miles an hour anyway. It wasn't crazy,
right.
was it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Ready to put your foot down, you can? Off the hat off.
I also asked for was a degree of regen.
Yeah.
So the regenerative braking of the Polestar is such a joy to drive that I wanted some of that. At the moment, it's not full one pedal control, but it is enough to allow me to feel that sense of slowing down as the car, as I take my foot off the accelerator.
Yeah.
Well.
Right.
So, yep, you are one of my inaugural passengers, which is brilliant.
Fantastic. How good's that?
It should be.
But there's another reason why it's taken so long, because you've had a bit of an issue with the DVLA. I think it's worth people knowing about this. What happened?
Yes. So when I bought the car, I knew that it didn't have a commission plate. Triumphs of this age had a pop riveted aluminium plate on the side of the engine bay, and I knew it didn't have that, but I did my due diligence on the car. I established from the paperwork I'd received that it was that. The engine number, the body number, the commission number all stacked up against the the British Heritage, Motor Heritage at Gaydon. So I knew everything was sound, so I didn't worry about it. I got a replacement commission plate because you can buy them, put it on and wrote to DVLA and said, can you now approve the conversion from fuel type? They sent someone out to have a look round, he was happy with the fuel conversion. What he wasn't happy with was that it wasn't the original commission plate.
Yeah.
I then got into a bit of a nightmare where they said, well, the only solution is that you now register it as a Q plate and we will come out and do an individual vehicle assessment.
Yeah. No, we don't want a Q plate, do we? We'll go into that shortly.
I'm afraid so. We don't want a Q plate.
No Q plates.
So for about 3 months, I just couldn't find a way forward. I just didn't know what to do. And I had one of those brainstorming moments where I thought, I've never spoken to the previous owner.
And then something amazing happened, didn't it?
It did, because I got hold of the guy who had sold me the car. He found me the previous owner's details. I wrote to them and said, I've now got your car. I don't know if. Can you just have a look around the attic, the garage, whatever? Maybe it's still there. And amazingly, I got a phone call to say, I've been in the attic. I found an envelope. It's got some original documents. It's got photos of me with the car in the 1990s. And lo and behold, it's actually got the commission plate.
Wow.
Which had been taken off the car when the restoration was started back in 1993. And obviously they'd forgotten about the fact that that had happened.
Yeah.
So I received those in my post, put them on my car, showed DVLA. DVLA said, that's fine, you're good to go.
Brilliant. And so it was meant to be.
It was absolutely meant to be.
It was meant to be.
You know, the kindness of strangers means that we are out driving today.
So I think Neil and Nick of Eco Classics has made a great job of this conversion, but what do you think? Please leave a message in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as always, and if you'd like to see the beginning of this story, why not check out this episode?